Bernie Sanders was asked to sing at a talent show as a joke, but his performance won him a spot. Lily Thompson hunched low in her auditorium seat, her hoodie drawn tight around her face like a shield against the world, her heart pounding with the kind of dread that only a middle schooler could feel when their social survival was on the line. The Baton Rouge Middle School buzzed with restless energy, whispers and giggles swirling through the crowd as Principal Guidry's voice echoed through the microphone, introducing the final speaker for Career Day. "Please welcome United States Senator Bernie Sanders." The room erupted in a chaotic mix of murmurs and phone camera clicks as her uncle strode onto the stage, his wild white hair and unmistakable Brooklyn accent marking him as both a political titan and the eccentric relative no one expected. For most kids, a famous relative would be a ticket to instant popularity. But for 12-year-old Lily, it was a curse. Her classmates already teased her mercilessly for being the senator's niece, mimicking his passionate speeches and exaggerated hand gestures, the top 1% of the 1%, in over-the-top imitations that made her cringe. Today, she was certain, would seal her fate as the school's laughingstock. "Dude, your uncle's here," hissed Caleb, her only friend, nudging her with a grin. "Why didn't you tell us?" "I didn't know," Lily muttered, her voice lost in the auditorium's din. And it was true. Her mom had vaguely mentioned Uncle Bernie might stop by their Baton Rouge home during a campaign visit, perhaps for a quick supper. But Career Day was a complete shock. On stage, Sanders looked less like a Washington Power player and more like someone who'd wandered out of a university debate. His suit rumpled, his tie slightly crooked, his expression both intense and kind. He shook Principal Guidry's hand and took the mic with a small, thoughtful nod. "Thank you for having me," he began, his voice gravelly but direct, hands already gesturing with conviction. "I heard my niece goes to school here, so I thought I'd stop by and talk to you all a little bit about life, public service, and the importance of standing up for others." Every head turned toward Lily, her face burning as she sank deeper into her seat, tugging her hoodie strings. For 20 minutes, Sanders captivated the crowd, weaving stories of his journey from a working-class kid in Brooklyn to the United States Senate. His honesty and passion landed well, his intensity drawing nods, his occasional dry humor prompting laughter. He fielded questions about Capitol Hill, his favorite sandwich from a New York deli, and what it's like debating on the Senate floor. But Lily's stomach knotted tighter with every minute, dreading the attention his presence drew to her. Then Principal Guidry pointed to a raised hand in the back, and Lily's heart sank. It was Derek LeBlanc, the 8th-grade bully who thrived on making her life miserable. Derek stood smirking, his soccer jersey stretched tight. "Senator Sanders," he said, voice dripping with mockery, "you're great at speeches, but what are you bad at? Could you handle something normal, like our talent show next week?" Snickers spread like wildfire. Principal Guidry reached for the mic, but Sanders gently waved her off, his eyes narrowing just slightly, a hint of wry amusement in his tone. "That's a fair question," he said evenly. "I'm bad at plenty. I can't cook much beyond oatmeal. I've never been able to dance without looking like I'm dodging something, and I still don't understand TikTok." The kids laughed, but Derek pressed on. "So, you're not good at regular people's stuff? Bet you wouldn't last 5 minutes in our talent show." The auditorium fell silent, the air heavy with anticipation. Lily wanted to disappear, mortified that her uncle was being challenged by a kid. Sanders studied Derek for a long moment, then gave a small, tight-lipped smile, more thoughtful than mischievous. "Tell me about this talent show," he said. Principal Guidry, flustered, explained. "It's our spring showcase. Students perform, and the winner gets an arts scholarship." Sanders nodded slowly. "And you think I'd flop?" Derek's grin widened. "No offense, sir, but politicians aren't stage stars. It'd be embarrassing." Gasps echoed. Students stared at Lily, who braced for disaster. But Sanders looked directly at Derek and replied evenly, "You know, stepping outside your comfort zone is how people grow." so let's do it. I'll perform." The room exploded in cheers, phones flashing as kids leapt up. Principal Guidry looked stunned. Lily felt her world collapse. As chaos reigned, Sanders stepped off stage, pausing by her row. "Surprise, sweetheart," he whispered, winking behind his glasses. "See you at supper." Derek shouted, "Better practice, Senator. Show's Friday." The bell rang, but instead of rushing to buses, kids swarmed Lily with questions. "Is he serious? What's his talent?" She pushed through, desperate to escape. Near the exit, Derek grabbed her shoulder. "Your uncle's cool for taking my dare," he said, his smile sharp. "But my cousins are bringing a WBRZ news crew. Shame if he flops on camera, huh?" Lily pulled away. "He won't flop." Derek laughed. "What's he going to do? Read laws?" "You don't know him," she snapped, her voice shaky but defiant. Caleb dragged her to the bus where he gushed. "Your uncle's awesome. What's he going to do?" "No clue," Lily admitted, her fear mounting. At home, Sanders's Prius was in the driveway. Inside, he sat with her mom sipping herbal tea. "There's my niece," he said cheerfully. "Ready for my talent show debut?" Her mom laughed. "Bernie, those kids will eat you alive." "That's the point," he replied. Lily couldn't hold back. "It's not fun. It's a disaster." Her mom frowned. "What's wrong, honey?" "Derek set this up to make Uncle Bernie fail," Lily said. "It'll ruin my life." Sanders's face softened. "You're worried I'll embarrass you." Lily looked down. "Derek's mean. And there's a news crew." Her mom hesitated. "Bernie, maybe rethink this." Sanders stood, placing a hand gently on Lily's shoulder. "Lily, people assume they know what others can do. Derek thinks he's got me figured out. He's wrong." "But what'll you do?" Lily asked. "It's in 3 days." Sanders smiled faintly. "That's for me to know. But I promise, you won't be ashamed. Trust me." Lily wanted to believe him, but doubt lingered. That night, unable to sleep, she crept downstairs and saw a light under the guest room door. She knocked. "Come in," Sanders called. He sat on the bed, papers scattered around him. "Can't sleep?" "No," she said. "I'm scared about the talent show." "Sit," he said. "I think you should back out. Say you've got a Senate vote." "Lie?" he asked, eyebrow raised. "Not lie. Just, Derek wants you to fail." "So what?" he said calmly. "People laughed when I ran for Senate. Said I couldn't win. If I'd been afraid of looking foolish, I wouldn't be here. But this is different," Lily argued. Sanders pulled out an old photo. A boy with a banjo beside an elderly woman. "I wasn't always good at things," he said. "We all start somewhere." "What's that photo?" Lily asked. He tucked it away. "A story for later. 3 days is enough." Silence fell, his confidence clashing with her fear. "Let me tell you something," he said. "As a kid, I loved something others mocked. My mom said, 'Fear of looking foolish is just fear of opinions.' I kept at it, and it mattered later. I'm doing this to show you. Courage is being scared but acting anyway. I need your help." "Help with what?" Lily asked. "Practice," he said. "You know what kids like." Lily hesitated, then nodded. "Fine, but don't blame me if Derek posts this online." Sanders laughed, a low, amused rumble. "Deal. Sleep now. We start tomorrow." At breakfast, her mom asked, "What's the plan, Bernie?" They said, "Surprise." At school, the talent show buzz was electric. Rumors of a bigger venue swirling. Derek taunted her, but a new girl named Min said, "Ignore him." Talent shows up unexpectedly. That night, Lily heard banjo strums from the guest room, her uncle's voice soulful. Could he pull it off? At home, Lily found Uncle Bernie in the guest room, now a makeshift rehearsal space, its door adorned with a scrawled sign, "Practice in progress. Trespassers will be quizzed on policy." She knocked hesitantly, her palms clammy. "Come in," Sanders called, his voice warm but focused. Inside, he stood with his banjo, surrounded by crumpled sheet music and a laptop looping a Cajun fiddle track. The room smelled faintly of herbal tea and old books. The banjo's polished surface caught the lamplight. "Ready to help your old uncle make history?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with a mix of determination and sincerity. Lily shifted uncomfortably, her sneakers scuffing the floor. Help with what exactly? You sounded good last night. But what if it's not enough? Sanders set the banjo down and leaned against the dresser, his slightly wrinkled jacket slung over a chair. Fair question. I need an honest audience to tell me what works and what doesn't. Plus, you know your school's crowd better than I do. He strummed a few bright notes, then launched into Jolie Blonde. His voice was gravelly yet soulful, weaving a tale of love and loss from the bayou. Lily's jaw dropped again, the music stirring something deep within her. But doubt lingered. It's amazing, Uncle Bernie, but the kids might not get Cajun music. It's different. Sanders chuckled, unfazed. Music isn't about fitting in, it's about connecting. But I could definitely use some polish. You in? Before Lily could answer, her phone buzzed with a text from Caleb. They're setting up lights at the community center. This is huge. Her stomach churned. The stakes were climbing higher than she'd imagined. She nodded reluctantly. I'm in. At school, the talent show dominated every conversation, transforming the hallways into a gauntlet of questions and stares. Teachers stopped Lily to ask about her uncle's plans, and rumors swirled that local celebrities might attend. During lunch, Caleb slid his tray next to hers, eyes wide. They're expecting 1,000 people. What's your uncle going to do? Lily poked at her pizza, avoiding his gaze. It's a surprise. Derek's voice cut in, sharp and mocking. Surprise? More like a train wreck. My cousin says WBRZ is betting on a flop. He leaned across the table, smirking. What's he going to do? Strum a banjo like some swamp grandpa? Lily's cheeks burned. But before she could retort, a quiet voice interrupted. Leave her alone, Derek. It was Min, a new student Lily had met the day before, her violin case slung over her shoulder. Min's dark eyes were calm but firm, her presence steady despite her small frame. Derek scoffed. What's it to you, new girl? Min didn't flinch. Bullies like you just talk big to hide how small you feel. Lily's uncle's got more guts than you ever will. The cafeteria went quiet, heads turning. Derek's smirk faltered, but he recovered, storming off with a muttered, whatever. Lily stared at Min, stunned. Thanks, but why'd you do that? Min shrugged, adjusting her glasses. My dad's a musician. He says, talent's worth defending. Is it true your uncle's playing banjo? Lily hesitated, bound by her promise to Sanders, but Min's sincerity disarmed her. Maybe, but it's a secret. Min nodded, a small smile breaking through. My dad plays Zydeco. I know Cajun music. If you need help, I'm around. That afternoon, Lily brought Min to her house, her nerves jangling as they approached the guest room. She knocked, and Sanders opened the door, eyeing the newcomer curiously. Uncle Bernie, this is Min, Lily said. She knows music. Her dad's in a Zydeco band. Min clutched her laptop bag, her usual confidence tempered by awe. It's an honor, Senator Sanders, Lily added. You might need help with the performance. Sanders studied her, then stepped back. Call me Bernie. And yeah, I could use a hand. But this stays hush-hush till the show. Deal? Min nodded solemnly. Deal. Inside, Sanders explained his plan. 2 songs, Jolie Blonde, a Cajun classic, and an original piece he'd written as a teenager, both backed by his banjo. He played a verse, but mid-song a string snapped with a sharp twang, halting the music. Ah, geez, Sanders muttered, inspecting the banjo. These strings are older than my first Senate campaign. Min stepped forward, peering at the instrument. I can fix it. My dad taught me how to restring. She worked deftly, her fingers nimble as she replaced the broken string and tuned the banjo with practiced ease. Sanders watched, impressed. You're a natural, Min. What else you got up your sleeve? Min opened her laptop, pulling up music software. I can adjust your backing track. The fiddle's too loud in the chorus, drowning out your voice. I could balance it. Sanders nodded. Let's hear it. As Min tweaked the track, Sanders shared a story with Lily, his voice softening. When I was your age, I was shy, kept to myself, didn't say much. My neighbor, Miss Clara, saw that and gave me a banjo. Said music would help me find my voice. She taught me Cajun songs, the the kind that tell stories about our people, about love, about loss. The bayou. It changed me. He pulled out the worn photo Lily had seen before. A young Bernie beside Miss Clara, both smiling after a performance. She told me my music would lift people up someday. I stopped playing when I went to law school, but her words stuck. Lily traced the photo's edges, a mix of pride and worry swelling in her chest. Why show it now? Sanders's eyes grew distant. Sometimes you've got to reclaim what you've buried. This shows my chance. Min looked up from her laptop. My dad says Cajun music's like a heartbeat. It connects everyone who hears it, but you need to stand taller when you play. Let your voice carry. Sanders tried it. His next verse came out richer, more resonant. Your dad's a wise man, he said. Min's smile was bittersweet. He's on tour a lot. Since we moved here, I don't see him much. Sanders's expression softened. Sounds like you're carrying his music with you, though. By evening, Min had perfected the backing track, its fiddle now complementing Sanders's voice. Lily suggested stage movements to match the banjo's rhythm, drawing on her memories of school plays. Sanders practiced tirelessly, but as they wrapped up, he admitted something surprising. I'm nervous. Senate debates are one thing, but it's personal. Lily was stunned. You? Nervous? Sanders shrugged, his calloused fingers tracing the banjo's strings. There's no shame in it. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. The next day, Derek's taunts escalated, his voice ringing through the school courtyard. Your uncle's going to play some hillbilly tune. My cousin's crew will love filming that flop. Lily's fists clenched, but Min's calm voice steadied her. He's just jealous. Your uncle's got soul. That afternoon, Sanders struggled with a verse, his fingers fumbling. Min coached his breathing, while Lily arranged props, a stool and a lantern to evoke a bayou vibe. As they rehearsed, Lily felt a shift. Her uncle wasn't just a senator. He was a man rediscovering a piece of himself, and she was part of it. But as the session ended, a new worry crept in. Would the audience see what she saw? Or would Derek's prediction come true? The community center in Baton Rouge was a pulsing hive of excitement, its vast hall packed to the rafters with a crowd that spilled into the aisles, their chatter a low roar under the glow of stage lights. Folding chairs lined the walls to accommodate the overflow. A mix of parents, students, local politicians, and curious townsfolk had gathered, drawn by the improbable spectacle of Senator Bernie Sanders performing in a middle school talent show. News cameras from WBRZ and a national outlet stood poised at the back, their red lights blinking like eager eyes, while hashtags like #Senator Sings trended across social media. Backstage, 12-year-old Lily Thompson paced a narrow hallway, her sneakers squeaking against the polished floor, her stomach a knot of nerves. Uncle Bernie had texted that he was minutes away, delayed by an urgent Senate call about a budget vote, but the show was set to start in 10 minutes, and Principal Guidry's anxious glances weren't helping. He'll be here, right? Guidry asked, her voice tight. We can't hold the show forever. Lily nodded, her throat dry. He'll make it. Min, the new girl who'd become her ally and Uncle Bernie's music consultant, touched her arm, her violin case slung over her shoulder. He's got this, Min whispered, her calm certainty a lifeline. Just then, the stage door creaked open, and Sanders slipped in, his suit slightly rumpled, but his banjo case in hand, his face weary yet resolute. Sorry for the drama, folks, he said, his tone steady despite the rush. Ready to stir up some bayou magic, Sanders said with a half-smile. Lily exhaled, relief flooding her. You're here. That's what matters. Guidry, practically vibrating with excitement, ushered them to a small dressing room. Senator Sanders, you're our grand finale. We'll need you in an hour. Anything you need? Just a quiet spot to tune up, Sanders replied, polite but distracted. As Guidry hurried off, Lily, Min, and Sanders slipped into the dressing room, the door muffling the crowd's hum. Min set her laptop on a table, checking the backing track one last time. How's your voice? She asked, eyeing Sanders's thermos of herbal tea. laced with a throat-soothing remedy her father had suggested. "Holding up," Sanders said, taking a sip, though his fingers betrayed a slight tremor as he adjusted his banjo strings. "Not my best, but it'll do." Lily frowned, noticing the fatigue in his eyes. "Are you nervous?" she asked, surprised. Sanders let out a short, rough laugh, sinking into a chair. "Of course I'm nervous. Aren't you nervous before a big test?" "Yeah, but—" "You're you," Lily said, gesturing vaguely. "You talk to presidents and stuff." "And none of that makes me immune to stage fright," he admitted, pulling the worn photo of himself with Miss Clara from his pocket. He studied it, his expression softening. "This isn't like a Senate speech. It's personal." Min approached, her curiosity gentle. "That picture, you look at it before every practice. Who's she?" Sanders hesitated, then handed it over. Lily leaned in, seeing the young Bernie, maybe 13, grinning beside an elderly woman with kind eyes, both holding instruments on a makeshift stage. "That's Miss Clara," Sanders said softly. "My music teacher in Brooklyn. She saw a nervous kid and gave him a banjo. Said it would help him speak his heart. She was right." "You learned from her?" Lily asked, pieces clicking into place. Sanders nodded. "From 10 to 14, until school got too busy. Then life took over. Law, politics, but I never forgot her." He tapped the photo gently. "She said, 'Your music will lift people up someday.' I'm hoping tonight's a start." The show began, student acts filling the stage, dances, a clarinet solo, a comedy skit that drew polite laughs. The crowd was warm but restless, clearly waiting for the main event. Backstage, Sanders warmed up, strumming quietly, his eyes distant. Lily watched, a mix of pride and fear swirling in her chest. "You don't have to do this," she said suddenly. "No one would blame you if you backed out." Sanders looked at her, surprised. "Would you be disappointed if I did?" Lily paused, realizing with a jolt that she would be. A week ago, she dreaded this moment. Now, she wanted to see him shine. "Yeah," she admitted, "but it's your call." Sanders smiled, a real one, not his Senate grin. "Then I'm doing it. For Miss Clara. For me. For you." A stagehand knocked. "5 minutes, Senator." Min gave Sanders's arm a quick squeeze. "Stand tall. Breathe deep. Focus on the back wall if the crowd's too much." She slipped out to find her seat, leaving Lily and Sanders alone. "Your friend's something special," Sanders said. Lily nodded. "Yeah, she is." The stagehand called again. "You're up." Sanders took a deep breath, tucked the photo away, and squared his shoulders. "Here goes nothing." As they walked to the stage, Lily spotted her mom in the front row, saving her a seat. Derek sat a few rows back, his smirk visible even in the dim light. Principal Guidry stepped to the mic. "And now our special guest, Senator Bernie Sanders." The crowd roared, a wave of applause crashing over the hall. Sanders gave Lily a quick wink and stepped into the spotlight, his banjo gleaming. He looked smaller, somehow more human than the larger-than-life figure on TV. For a heartbeat, Lily feared his nerves would win. But then he strummed a single clear note, and the room fell silent. The opening chords of Jambalaya rang out, lively and raw. Sanders's voice wove through the Cajun melody with a soulful grit that carried the bayou's spirit. The crowd leaned forward, caught by the unfamiliar rhythm and his unguarded emotion. Lily, now in her seat beside Min, felt her heart race. Derek's smirk faded, replaced by stunned silence. The song ended to a moment of hush, then thunderous applause. Sanders spoke, his voice quiet but clear. "This next one's mine, written when I was a boy, dreaming of making a difference." His original song, Bayou Dreams, unfolded with simple chords and lyrics of resilience and hope. Its chorus soaring, "Keep your heart open. Let the river flow." Tears glistened in the audience. Min's hand found Lily's, squeezing tight. As the final note faded, the crowd leapt to their feet, cheering wildly, a standing ovation that shook the rafters. Sanders bowed humbly, his smile vulnerable, and caught Lily's eye, a silent question in his gaze. She clapped until her hands stung, nodding fiercely, pride overwhelming her fear. Backstage, chaos reigned as students and staff crowded the wings. Lily and Min pushed through, finding Sanders in the dressing room, banjo case open, photo in hand. "You were incredible," Lily burst out. Min added, "Your breathing was perfect. My dad would have loved it." Sanders tucked the photo away. "Miss Clara would be proud. Music's meant to be shared." Guidry burst in. "They're begging for an encore." Sanders glanced at Lily, who nodded. "One more," he said, heading back out. The next morning, Sanders's performance was a viral sensation. Headlines proclaimed Senator's banjo stuns Louisiana and Sanders's hidden talent. At breakfast, Lily's phone buzzed with texts, even from Derek. "Your uncle's legit. Sorry." Sanders sipped his coffee, unfazed. Fame's a flash in the pan. But last night mattered. He revealed a scholarship in Miss Clara's name, with Min as the first recipient, covering music lessons and college funds. Min's eyes welled up. Later, he shared plans for the Clara Thibodeau Music Foundation, funding rural music programs. "Miss Clara told me to lift folks up," he said. "This is how." He invited Lily and Min to be youth ambassadors, traveling to share music. Weeks later, in a Cajun town, Lily stood with Min, Sanders, and Miss Clara's family, celebrating the foundation's launch. Local kids played Zydeco, their music, a living legacy. Lily realized the talent show wasn't just about Uncle Bernie's banjo. It was about keeping a promise that changed lives, proving one daring act could ripple far beyond the stage. If this story of courage and connection moved you, please consider donating to our channel. Your support fuels more tales that inspire and unite. Click the link in our bio to help us keep sharing the magic of music and human spirit.